Welcome to the channel Forever Orchids. My name is Tracy, and I am so glad that you guys stopped by today. I want to show you this new plant that I was gifted a couple of days ago. This is a Dendrobium kingianum. This is an Australian native orchid, and a friend of mine at my local orchid society has so many of them, and they brought it in for our show table, and I was admiring it and smelling wonderful blooms. And the gentleman said, Do you want some? Do you want it? And I was like, Sure. You want to give me some Keikis off of it? That'd be great. He said, No, the whole plant. And he said, My wife's got plenty of them. The Keikis just fall off and she pots them up and she can't stand the smell of them. So I said, Sure, I'll take it. So I thought we would look at it today. It does have lots of Keikis on it. See all these roots here coming off of the Keikis? Got a little broken flower stem right here. But it is loaded. Oops, that flower stem broke off. It's been doing a little bit of traveling. Let's put it that way. That's so pretty. Look at these adorable flowers. I'm probably going to have to put up a still picture to get these flowers to actually focus, get my camera to focus. But they are so cute and they smell so good. But I wanted you to see all the Keikis in here. And I thought what we would do is take some of them off. They're real easy to come off. Like I said, the grower told me that they'll just fall off. And I actually had some in transporting the plant just fall off in the floor. No big deal. And here's one that we can take off. And I don't think it matters that it's flowering or not. We can just look how simple that was to take off. And then now I've got a new plant that I can just pop down into a pot and it'll start sending out new shoots. Very prolific plant, easy. One of the things that I have learned in doing some research on this plant is that it can tolerate a lot of sunlight, but in the wintertime, it does need cooler temperatures and a dry rest. And that will help it flower in the spring. Now, the grower was telling me when I asked her how she grows this plant in her greenhouse, and she said there really wasn't anything that she did special to it, but what she feels like happened was the reason why it has so many Keikis on it is she didn't give it the dry rest and it got too much water, is what she said. I've never had a Dendrobium in my collection, so this is the first one, and I don't know, if that's true or not. I do know that a lot of these plants in the Dendrobium Alliance will definitely throw a lot of Keikis, and that doesn't, in this case, mean that there's something wrong with the plant. A lot of times, like in your Phalaenopsis, if you have a flower spike and it throws a Keiki, that is its way of trying to survive. And it probably means the mother plant is on its way out and is not doing good. But that's not the case with the Dendrobiums. They just seem to like to propagate themselves. And they typically will grow in nature. These are considered more lipophytes, which means they're going to grow in rocky crevices where you would have two rocks coming together that would form a little crevice where leaf debris and maybe tree fern or some ferns might be growing. A little bit of a moist environment there, just a little bit, and they will just populate. I've seen some pictures of these in their native environment in Australia, and it's almost like a ground cover. Gorgeous, gorgeous. So we have got now, I've got some video that I want to show you where I've gone overhead with the camera and I'm showing you where I'm taking off several of the Keikis and potting them up. So let's go to that video now. I've had the plant soaking in water to loosen up those roots away from the plastic pot. You know me, if you have a very, very thin tag, you can take that and run it between the roots and the plastic pot, and that will loosen those roots. That will keep the vellum attached to the roots and get them away from the plastic pot. Just about done here. Look at it just coming right off. Look at that, just pulling right apart now. So now I've got all the roots for these 5 pseudobulbs here, and it's going to be ready to pot up. But I think I'm going to take off, as I'm looking at the plant, I think I'm going to take off this Keiki right here. Look how easy it is. It just comes off. So easy. So now I can pot this up. I've got a 3.5 inch deep pot here that I'm going to test to make sure those roots will go down in there. And then I've got some orchiata bark and some fine fir bark that I'm putting down around the roots. I'm holding the pseudobulbs with my other hand so I can keep them upright so the bark will fill in around those roots, keeping those pseudobulbs and the rhizome straight, the best I can at least. Just continue to fill in and kind of gently poke down with my fingers to get that bark around those roots. You can tap the pot on the table a little bit to shake them down in amongst the roots. And then I'm all done with this one and it is ready to go. Hope you were able to see that very well over. Whoops, forgot this one was in water. Almost dumped water on myself. Here is the one that we potted up. Let's move this one out of the way here. Still got a little issue with this little guy here coming out. I'll try to see if I can bury that down a little bit deeper. And then we will also, let's see if we can't get the ones that we just popped off. I might not be able to get these because the roots are so long down into here since I've already potted this up. But I do have 2 of them here that we just pulled off that we could definitely pot up. In fact, we could do an experiment. Why don't we do that? We've got this one, or I've got this one, sorry. You watched me plant this up in bark mixture. So why don't I get a little small pot and we will put some sphagnum moss around this and plant it. And let's see which one we can get to maybe grow faster or something. Hang tight. Alrighty, I've got some sphagnum moss soaking over here. Get it wet so that I don't have to deal with any of the dry particles from the sphagnum moss. You don't want to breathe in that. So I've dampened my sphagnum moss, and let's just take some and put around these roots here and start putting it down into the clay pot. And I did just kind of lightly tap my fingers around this sphagnum moss so that it would compress slightly around the plant. And I think that's all I need to do. Made a mess here on my countertop, didn't I? But that's okay. And now we've got 3 separate plants here of Dendrobium kingianum. Might end up having to take some more Keikis off of the mother plant here. We'll still see whether we're going to do that or not. And we're just going to see what happens with these here. And until next time, guys, happy orchid growing. Bye.